Good morning, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me. Somebody,
Morning,
Eva?
Dr. Miano. We can hear you.
Good morning. So, welcome all to day 2 of the conference. My name is Dr. Robert Miano. I work at GlaxoSmithKline as a QPPV. So I'll start with a short word of prayer and then I'll do a brief on what we are expecting today. So let's pray. Dear Lord, we give thanks for this time as we start our conference day 2. May you bless us, may you give us order, may you teach us, and may you help us to learn from each other. May you give us a good day. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen. Okay, so this is day 2 of the PSK conference virtual edition. As we all know, the conference theme is propping up soon. So this is the 40th annual scientific conference. The theme is pharmacy delivering primary healthcare, responding to emerging healthcare dynamics. Yesterday we had a very good session that was led by our symposium convener, Eva. We also had the keynote address and we also had a lot of presentations. So as we get set to day 2, I want to do a brief on what we are expecting today. So we'll start with a presentation from KAPI. We'll also have a keynote address on supply chain considerations for primary healthcare. We'll also have 2 abstract presentations. And then we'll have the biggest event of the day, which will be the slightly after the panel. And we'll give you instructions on how to join the panel. So our fellows, esteemed members of PSK associates, our esteemed guests, sponsors, and our partners, I welcome you today to the day 2 of the virtual conference. Enjoy the short video that's coming up from PSK. Starting in a few minutes.
Hello everyone, I'm Eric and I'll quickly take you through the process of subscribing to a CPD event, claiming CPD tokens, and I'll also address the challenges you're likely to encounter in the process. When you log into your PPB portal, you'll find different icons, but the ones that are most important to CPD are the ones called CPD, the one of claim tokens, and the one of self-reporting. How do you subscribe to a CPD event? When we say make sure you subscribe, we mean you visit your portal, come to this CPD icon, which leads to all the events that are coming. And how do you subscribe? I've already subscribed to all the days of the conference, so I'll demonstrate with this event provided by KNH, and I'll click subscribe, then subscribe to event. It will tell me you've already subscribed to this event. Follow up with the provider. Whenever you are subscribing, you want to avoid clicking subscribe in quick succession on different events, because then it is only the first event that will be captured. The rest will say already subscribed, yet they have not been subscribed to. You can confirm if your subscription is successful by the change of color. The color changes. For example, this event has changed from the black button to a gray button that tells already subscribed. You can as well come back to claim tokens, where you'll find all the events that you've subscribed to. Refresh that page, you'll see whether the subscription was successful or not. It is very important to make sure that your subscription is confirmed, because the token that you send after the event can only be claimed under the events that you've subscribed. So once you subscribe and after you attend the event, if it's this conference, you'll receive a token. So we send tokens to all participants. Whenever you receive a token, you'll come under claim tokens to claim it. For example, I'll demonstrate with a token I received for the World Pharmacist Day webinar, which was done in conjunction with GSK. I'll come here to claim token. I'll paste my token here and I will claim points. It will tell me that I've been awarded 1 point. This is the point. I've already been awarded. Usually there are some issues that you encounter. It will tell you that that token is invalid or it's expired. It's when you claim the token. Where do you get that? It's when you claim the token under a different event. For example, the same token, if I bring it to another event, it will give me an error. It will say, for example, this one will say the token is invalid or has already expired because it's a token for a different event. Another issue that members complain is that they say I cannot find the event under the claim tokens. That means your subscription was not successful. You either clicked in quick succession or you did not confirm whether the subscription was successful or not. It is important to note that subscribing is very important if you are to get the point. Attend When you log into your PPB portal, you'll find different icons, but the ones that are most important to CPD are the ones called CPD, the one of claim tokens, and the one of self-reporting. How do you subscribe to a CPD event? When we say make sure you subscribe, we mean you visit your portal, come to this CPD icon, which leads to all the events that are upcoming.
Thank you, PSK. So welcome again, everyone. Weather check. How is weather in your area? Where are you joining us from? I know there are people here joining us from Mombasa. Some are joining us from Meru. I've seen somebody from Narok. Someone joining from Kisii. So I hope you are keeping warm. In Nairobi, it's a bit cold, and we are trying to keep warm. So I want to take you through. The first one is just to thank you for participating in this session and to hope that all of us will have a good time. All participants will be muted during the entire course of this session. I want to assure you that if you are going to unmute and start talking to your goat and chicken, we'll deduct your CPD points. Okay, if you have a question, please use the Q&A tab at the bottom of your presenters that all questions will be addressed on the Q&A tab. So we'll not have live speaking to answer questions. So PSK members, please make sure you subscribe to the event on the portal because that's where you'll get your CPD points. We can only award CPD points to paid up members. So if in case you've sneaked into this meeting and you're not a paid up member, we'll sneak you out and we'll make sure you also pay up and get your CPD points. Okay, members in attendance, your officials will share how the points will be awarded. Please note the session is being recorded and this will be mailed to, it will be available on the PSK YouTube channel. So I see a lot of chats here. Someone tells me in Siaya the weather is sunny. So Siaya people, you can donate some of your sun to Nairobi. I see somebody joining from Kilimani. Weather good for Zoom conference. Okay. There's no one joining from outside the country. Oh no. Fine. So those are the ground rules for today. Just to remind you that I'm your host for the day. My name is Dr. Robert Miano. For those who've joined when I introduced myself, I work in GSK. So at this moment, I want to invite Willie Sorone from KAPI, which is the Kenya Association of Pharmaceutical Industries, to make a short
Hello,
presentation
everyone.
on behalf of KAPI. So the KAPI presentation, Willie, are you ready? Willie Sorone? Okay, we are still waiting for Willie to join. You can enjoy the video on how to subscribe shortly as he gets set for his session.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eric, and I'll quickly take you through the process of subscribing to a CPD event, claiming CPD tokens, and I'll also address the challenges you're likely to encounter in the process. When you log into your PPB portal, you'll find different icons, but the ones that are most important to CPD are the ones called CPD, the one of claim tokens, and the one of self-reporting. How do you subscribe to a CPD event? When we say make sure you subscribe, we mean you visit your portal, come to this CPD icon, which leads to all the events that are upcoming. And how do you subscribe? I've already subscribed to all the days of the conference, so I'll demonstrate with this event provided by KNH, and I'll click subscribe, then subscribe to event. It will tell me you've already subscribed to this event. Follow up with the provider. Whenever you are subscribing, you want to avoid clicking subscribe in quick succession on different events, because then it is only the first event that will be captured. The rest will say already subscribed, yet they have not been subscribed to. You can confirm if your subscription is successful by the change of color. The color changes. For example, this event has changed from the black button to a gray button that tells already subscribed. You can as well come back to claim tokens, where you'll find all the events that you've subscribed to. Refresh that page, you'll see whether the subscription was successful or not. It is very important to make sure that your subscription is confirmed, because the token that you send after the event can only be claimed under the events that you subscribed. So once you subscribe and after you attend the event, if it's this conference, you'll receive a token. So we send tokens to all participants. Whenever you receive a token, you'll come under claim tokens to claim it. For example, I'll demonstrate with a token I received for the World Pharmacist Day webinar, which was done in conjunction with GSK. I'll come here to claim token. I'll paste my token here and I will claim points. it will tell me that I've been awarded 1 point. This is the point I've already been awarded. Usually there are some issues that you encounter. It will tell you that that token is invalid or it's expired. It's when you claim the token. Where do you get that? It's when you claim the token under a different event. For example, the same token, if I bring it to another event, it will give me an error. It will say, for example, this one will say the token is invalid or has already expired because it's a token for a different event. Another issue that members complain is that they say I cannot find the event under the claim tokens. That means your subscription was not successful. You either clicked in quick succession or you did not confirm whether the subscription was successful or not. It is important to note that subscribing is very important if you are to get the point. Attending an event without subscribing means the token that will send you will not help. It will not be of benefit to you. So it's always important to subscribe to all the events.
Okay, good morning again. So we are still doing the weather check, rain check. Dr. Momanyi from Taita Taveta says it's cloudy. Okay. I see Dr. Tom Sindani, Bungoma is cool. That's nice. Dr. John Ngede, Nakuru is warm and bright. Makes me think next conference, maybe we should meet in Nakuru because I see here that Dr. Yakub says Mombasa is rainy. We are glad we are not in Mombasa. We are happily tucked in our warm indoors in Nairobi. I see Dr. Grace Miti says Mombasa is sunny. Grace and Yakub, can you decide which weather Mombasa is? Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Dr. Roslyn Moin, I see you. Eldoret is sunny. Good morning. Dr. Ngede, Mpeketoni, hot and windy. Glad we are not in Mpeketoni, but I hope you are enjoying the wind in Mpeketoni. And finally, Dr. Elizabeth Itotia from South Africa says it's very sunny. Good ideas for us to fly to South Africa for our next conference in the next decade, probably. So thanks a lot, guys. Keep chatting as we enjoy and do a rain check. I see also a proposal from Dr. Not Dr. Faith. There's someone who is asking for private chat. Or Dr. Peter Agre says, could you enable private chat? We need to catch up with colleagues. So Dr. Peter, please form a WhatsApp group and do your own Zoom meeting. You'll enjoy your chit chat in your private meetings. So thanks a lot, guys. Let's keep talking. Willis Sorene, take it over. Tell us about KAPI. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Someone confirm you can hear me so that.
Yes, we can hear you, Willie. This is Eva.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And I am very pleased to join you this morning on your annual conference under these very special circumstances brought on by COVID. Now, it's really heartening to see that the healthcare industry at the moment in the interaction with the PSK is still championing learning, understanding, and being prepared to deal with any circumstances, and especially trying to be ready for the patient. Times have indeed changed. Under normal circumstances, we will be in a conference room, all of us together, seeing each other face to face. But as I said, the circumstances are strange. I'm going to speak today about KAPI. I will not delve very much into the code of practice provisions because it's a very comprehensive document covering 68 pages. But I will touch on KAPI, the background of KAPI, and at the end of it, dig a little into the specific provisions of the code of practice. Why do we emphasize code of practice? We want to promote a viable, transparent, and equitable healthcare products, innovations, and services that do not infringe on the relationship between the doctor and the patient. I will share my screen. I hope this will be visible to everyone. Now, I need to be given permission from the coordinator to share my screen because it says I cannot share mine until you stop sharing yours.
Willie, we are giving you host permission shortly.
Thank you. So as they are doing that, I hope everyone is good from whichever locations you are. I know that most likely your Singishu members are being rained on, who most likely Western as well. Nyanza regions are seeing the rains are there. The Nairobi people are under a cloud, but I hope all of us are safe and sound. The background of KAPI is that we are an association composed of, we are an association. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Willie, we can see your screen.
Thank you. We are an association that was founded in the early 60s. My current records indicate it was 1962. We have a membership of about 34 companies. It keeps on going up and down, depending on the annual registrations or retentions of membership. But it's a large organization composed of largely R&D oriented companies or their local representatives. The key thing is this is R&D related and focusing on all biopharmaceuticals, be it small molecules, vaccines, or medical devices and diagnostics. The companies that innovate and manufacture these come together under the umbrella of KAPI with a vision to lead in the provision of world-class healthcare solutions, products and services. And here we're talking about quality. And the intention is to promote an ethical, innovative, and responsible healthcare industry. That's our intention, it's our mission. And we put ourselves forward, driven by core values of relationships, ethics, integrity, and excellence. And today's interaction is part of promoting and forging that relationship. We've had a very cozy relationship with PSK, and the current leadership is very proactive and reaches out, and we work together very well. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for the work you're doing. Now, we focus, as I said, on promoting efficient pharmaceutical industry that supports access to high quality and safe, effective medicines by the patients. And this includes diagnostics and other biopharmaceuticals. We are organized well, but we're still based largely on an elected board with an intention to develop a secretariat. This is ongoing and some pieces of it are in place. But currently, the executive board, which I chair, derives its mandate from the general membership. And the general membership gives a flavor of what are the key things to achieve in the environment. And the executive board discharges that mandate through committees. We have a public relations and communications committee, trade and policy, research and regulations, compliance. And for today's quick mention, we are focusing at the end of the work done by the compliance committee, even though all the other committees are very active and running with the projects and focus areas that they are working on. Our secretariat, right now we have a piece of it, as I say, a coordinating admin, but we expect to have a CEO, a finance division, projects office, and the HR administrative function. But all these, again, is towards enabling KAPI to be the voice in the industry, to promote efficiency in the pharmaceutical industry, enable access to high quality medicine, with focus on safety and effectiveness, as I said, and we do not leave behind other health products and technologies, be it diagnostics and preventive measures. This is our membership. Now, this may not be complete as of now, but what I want to point out here is that the local entrepreneurs are bubbling up, are getting stronger and getting more visible towards integrating with the KAPI. And this is through their representation of international pharmaceuticals. For example, you have McNaughton here, you have Hyken, you have Philips Healthcare, you have, who's the other one I've missed? Imperial Health Sciences, you have Laborex, you have Statin, you have Surgifarm, you have Beta Healthcare. These are local players that are scaling up to international standards. What I want to point out here is the KAPI member companies at one time or another have helped shape the direction of medicine or have been responsible in making a breakthrough in a certain area or another and advancing the practice of medicine. I will pick randomly. If you think of Mark Serono here, everyone knows about glucophage. These are the people who made the breakthrough in that direction. If you think about PPIs, AstraZeneca made that directional breakthrough, and all of you are very familiar with Nexia. I'm not promoting, I'm mentioning to you the directional breakthroughs that the member companies have achieved in making the world a better place. All of you are familiar with the penicillin bedrock of GSK. Sanofi, strong leader in all spheres, but you can remember their flavor together with Lilly on insulin and also together with Novo. Now, if you picked any company here, as I say, if you pick any member company here, they've given their piece to the global development of pharmaceuticals and clear breakthroughs in multiple disease areas. And we are very proud of our heritage and to our members. I hope your interaction with our member companies is as pleasant as I get whenever I interact with them at the KAPI level. All our members are always free and accessible and willing to help you in any educative matter, in any promotional matter. And if you need any support that will incorporate KAPI to help you interact with our members, we are very happy to support you that. Now, we do not look inwards only at our membership. We also have connections through partnerships and affiliations. We are an affiliate of the International Federation of Pharmaceutical Manufacturers. As a matter of fact, our code of practice flows from them so that we are very global in a local scenario. We also affiliated to the Global Self-Care Federation. We're a strong partner to the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, strong representation into the East Africa Business Council. We are a good player in KEPSA, a member of Kenya Health Federation, and we collaborate very strongly with KAPI. It brings forward, it carries forward the spirit I mentioned of collaboration by KAPI. Now, as I wind down, I wanted to mention a little bit about the code of practice. Globally, we all recognize, and even in the local setup within the PSK, we all recognize that anyone acting out of line risks really damaging the industry, creating disrepute, and breaking that foundational trust that the consumers or the patients we serve need to have in order to access the services and the products we provide in a very proactive manner. So our code of practice is tailored by mutual consent and self-governance to ensure that all members do not infringe on that. And the basics of it is the KAPI code of practice prohibits any member from any practices that may damage the patient healthcare provider relationship. And I believe that when you interact with the KAPI member companies, you will see a clear intention on their part to ensure that you, the healthcare provider, your relationship with the patient is never infringed on. Your decisions and your professional judgment is preserved. And second, we prohibit our members from bringing disrepute, shame, and damaging the trust on the industry. We do not want that. We've come from a global past. Luckily, Kenya is not that bad. We've had a global past of extreme malpractices about 20 years, 30 years ago. But the world now is very clean, guided by clear codes of practice, and KAPI embodies that locally. What we want to achieve, our ethos are encompassed in this circle. We want to achieve a business that brings care, fairness, respect, and honesty. And on this, we build trust, not only with the patient, but also with the healthcare provider and the policy managers in the environment. How do we get this self or mutual governance? I give you an example here. I've just excerpted something from our code of practice. All members pledge to uphold the code of practice. And thereafter, each member becomes a check and a monitor on the others. Any malpractice or any behavior out of line is reported into KAPI, and KAPI takes it up with the member companies, and it could go to a stage of the member being sanctioned for any misbehavior. I'm very happy to note that so far we have very good observance of the code by our members, and you are our witness. At any given time, let us know if you experience anything that touches on, becomes a malpractice or damages your relationship with the patient. Now, KAPI supports its members to implement and operate by the code of practice through awareness and sensitization, and we also conduct trainings whenever necessary. I will leave it to that, but let me just share with you a page from the, you can still see me?
Yes, we can, Willie.
Okay, this is just a page out of the 68 pages from the guiding principles that are encapsulated in the code of practice. We are happy to share this with you. We will reach out to your leadership and anyone who wants to access this document. It actually is a very good guide for your own private practices. Everyone starts from a small operation. Eventually, you become an institution. As you grow, you can borrow from those who are already ahead, and we are willing to share these guiding principles or code of practice with you. I have exhausted my allocated 15 minutes. I don't know whether there is any question that I can address now, or we can wait until the last session when we can have the questions.
Thank you, Willie. So for questions there on the Q&A tab, please feel free to reply from the tab. Yeah.
Right, I will deal with that. Thank you very much, and all the best and success with your conference. And I know these are special circumstances, but hey, the professionals in your organization were exactly developed and prepared for such situations. Thank you very much, and God bless PSK and KAPI.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you, KAPI, for the sponsorship and for the presentation. So we proceed with our program. From the chats, I've noticed there are people who are chatting from Mombasa and they don't live in Mombasa. So please, a reminder, this is a virtual conference. Don't lie to your neighbors that you've attended a conference in Mombasa. But again, feel free to move to Nakuru or Turkana where the weather is good so that you can enjoy the virtual conference from the best locations. So at this time, I want to invite Dr. Anastasia Nyalita to give a keynote address, some brief introduction about Dr. Anastasia Nyalita. She is currently the Kenya Healthcare Federation Chief Executive from August of 2019. We all know, most of us know Anastasia. She is passionate about organizational development and also about the Kenya pharma industry. She's a policy maker and a key person in terms of coordination with other health bodies. She's a pharmacist, an MBA graduate of the University of Nairobi, a certified corporate governance trainer, board evaluations and governance assessments. Dr. Nyalita, welcome to make the keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Maybe you can unshare so I share the screen also. And as Robert does that, so good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I'm not sure if the president is on board. I've seen that Dr. Daniela, the CEO, is there. Distinguished guests, fellow colleagues and members of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a pleasure to be here today with you. Just to give you a little bit of a snippet into the supply chain, which is an area that I've been for the last 20 plus years. I'm glad to see more than 300 people. I think it's as good as a virtual meeting. I mean, it's as good as face-to-face meeting, and that's very encouraging. And thank you, Robert, for those very introduction. But I just want to say that one of the things that have held me solid and grounded is being an active member of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya. And it didn't just start, from when I graduated. Of course, as a student, I was also in the Students' Council. And this is to the, the young stars, the students who may be on board this conference today. I urge you to stay engaged and to stay active and to contribute to the society, whether you're a student, whether you've just graduated, or whether you're actually in practice. I know a lot of you are, some of you are grumbling that there is no work, or maybe you're not employed. It's a fair comment, but also there's a lot you can offer even, before you get that employment, and also in areas of entrepreneurship as well. And I'm sure, the sessions yesterday and today, and also by the end of the conference, will actually also elicit a lot of ideas on where we can play as pharmacists or even as practitioners in the pharmaceutical sector. So just a bit about myself, and very passionate about healthcare, but more important, very passionate about a pharmacist. So thanks to you all. Please, let's stay connected and let's build the profession. Now, I was asked to talk about, supply chain and, what are the considerations in primary healthcare. And before we even, start talking about the considerations, and I know most of you will appreciate what primary healthcare is, but just that, we're taught in school, and it is just basic principles that we actually sort of remind ourselves what is it that we're talking about. So, in terms of primary healthcare, it's care for all ages. Yeah, it's for everyone, wherever they need it, at the time they need it, even at the community level. And from a pharmacy practice perspective, we are the first point of contact at the community level. But that doesn't mean that, primary healthcare starts and stops at that level. So wherever we are practicing, whenever we interact with the patients, it's always either we're the first or the last point of contact with the patient. And for me, that is, essentially is care at those different levels. So primary healthcare is a fundamental premise of, So all people everywhere deserve the right care, right in their community. And this is a fundamental premise of primary healthcare. Yeah, it addresses majority of persons' health needs throughout their lifetime, which includes the physical, mental, social, well-being, as well as it is people-centered rather than disease-centered. So in our practice, wherever we are, we should focus more on patient-centered care rather than just looking at the disease, because when you treat the patient is okay, then that is what is very important. So primary healthcare is a whole of society approach that includes health promotion, disease prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and palliative care, as we all know. And then a primary healthcare approach includes 3 components. So first is meeting people's health needs throughout their lives, addressing the broader determinants of health through multi-sectorial policy and action, and also empowering individuals, families, and community to take charge of their own health. So as a first point of contact for the patient in the community, this is our role as pharmacists to ensure that we empower, we educate the community to be able to own and take charge of their own health. So by providing care in the community as well as care through the age of the human being. So primary healthcare does not only individual and family, does not only take care of individual and family health needs, but also the broader issue of public health and the needs of defined population. So even as we, finish our BPharm, there are a lot of places where we can look at, touch points where we can actually specialize in. It doesn't have to be only the community or the industry or even academia. We should actually, and that's one of the things that I've appreciated as a pharmacist, that we're very diverse in how we do it, and we always, make a change and a difference and an impact in the areas that we practice in, and even if it's a non-traditional area. So primary healthcare, because it is about how best to provide healthcare and services to everyone, everywhere, it is the most efficient and effective way to achieve healthcare for all. So of course, so Kenya, our universal healthcare is centered on primary healthcare, so which is pretty much aligned with, universal health. So in terms of where we play, so drugs and supplies, which is where supply chain fits in, is a key input in the strong primary healthcare systems. So if you look at the framework for primary healthcare, you're looking at the strategic levers, which include the system, which is basically the systems, and this touch on governance and leadership, health financing, and adjustment to population health needs. And then we're looking at the outputs, which are outcomes, which are basically what is health status, responsiveness to people, equity and efficiency, and resilience to health. So in between there is where the rubber meets the road. Basically, under supply chain, we have, of course, the products. Then we have facility and infrastructure. We have information systems, workforce, funding, and so on and so forth. And then under service delivery, we're looking at issues to do with access, population health management. We're looking at high quality primary healthcare, availability of effective primary healthcare services, facility organizations and management. And then on the output sides, we're looking at effective service coverage, health promotion, disease prevention, neonatal, maternal, child health, childhood illnesses, infectious diseases like we have currently in the current pandemic era that we are in, NCDs and mental health and palliative care. So basically, this is the framework for a strong primary healthcare system. Now, if you look at the other side of, what is a supply chain? I know we all know what a supply chain is. Again, just to remind ourselves, so it's entire, I like to define it like, it's molecule, it's a whole value chain, from molecule, the discovery, to the time the product gets to the patient. So everything in between there is what forms the supply chain. And then it lays out all the aspects of production and the distribution and until the product gets into the patient. And it's in healthcare, it focuses, of course, as we know, on the availability of essential medicines, vaccines, products, and technologies at the primary care facilities. And it plays a critical role in, it plays a critical role in the WHO building blocks of or pillars that operate together to meet healthcare needs. So basically the framework for a strong healthcare system. Yeah. So what is the importance of supply chain in primary healthcare? Yeah. So supply chains for primary healthcare focuses on the availability of healthcare products and technologies. And it is a strong primary healthcare that is capable of providing a comprehensive suite of promotive, preventive, and curative services is dependent on affordable, timely, dependable access to safe, effective, and efficacious high-quality medicines and supplies. So therefore, supply chain is critical in ensuring facilities and frontline providers have access to these products. And then also it ensures promotion of equitable distribution of drugs, supplies, and supports universal access as well, while ensuring that quality affordable products are available to patients at all levels of the health system. Now, so how does the good supply chain contribute to good health outcomes? If you look at what forms the pillars of towards achieving health outcomes, we're looking at geographical access to be able to provide product at locations within reasonable distance to the patient. If you look at, of course, things like, if you look at our geographical scope in Kenya, for example, you will appreciate that we tend to have good access in main cities. As we move out from the main cities, then that becomes a challenge. What are the key drivers of geographical access? Location of the product, dispensing point, that is very important. Cost and modes of patient and or product transport, again, a very important point in the supply chain. We are also looking at availability, ability to provide consistent able to provide consistent availability of the right type of product and quantity in the right quantity at the right time. And the key drivers will be matching of supply and demand, access to working capital, financing gaps, delays and leakages, warehousing and transportation consideration. Then in terms of affordability, to be able to provide products at prices that patients or the system is able to bear and sustain. And of course, system we're looking at, funded like the public healthcare system, where the product is funded by the government or other development partners. So key drivers in this aspect will be things to do with market competition, free dispensing versus user fees. If you look at the quality aspect, a strong supply chain should be able to provide a safe, authentic, efficacious, and unexpired products, with key drivers being quality products. Quality products enters the supply chain, product integrity maintained until the point of dispensing, and disincentives for counterfeiting. Of course, we know the environment that we are operating in is very susceptible to counterfeiting. It's not a unique thing for Kenya. It's a worldwide challenge. So basically, it's this is just an outlook of how good supply chain performance contributes to good health outcomes. So moving up, and we now go into the core of the considerations that I was asked to talk about. So what are the considerations for supply chain? Supply chain considerations for primary healthcare. Yeah. So the first one would be ensuring quality, safe, and effective healthcare products. And this can be achieved through regulatory systems strengthening, which we are very familiar with. Market surveillance, just to make sure that constantly we see and we know what's happening in the market. Of course, primarily that's the role of a regulator. Quality assessment within either the manufacturing, the distribution, supply chain, and also at the on a regular basis as part of the market surveillance, and pre-qualification of health products to meet global standards. And this is very important, because then if your product is pre-qualified, let's say, for example, you have a local manufacturing facility and your product is qualified, then not only are you able to service the local market and also local international tenders that are funded by development partners, but also it gives confidence to countries where you're expecting the products to enhance, of course, that gives you a very good market access opportunity. The other aspect of consideration is improving equitable access. And this requires policy. So policy formulation is a key consideration, and also programmatic efforts throughout the value chain for development through delivery. This includes evidence-based selection, supply chain management, and appropriate prescribing use. So, and finally, strengthening supply chains. Supply chains can be made more efficient through robust supply chain management, including efficient product selection, quantification, procurement, distribution, and various operational functions such as appropriate financing, performance management, and risk management. Now, specific considerations in planning and implementing those strategies. So in terms of enabling factors for high quality drug supplies, we need to have efficient supply chain. We need to have strong regulatory systems. We have talked about market surveillance and assessment mechanisms. And then innovation to foster R&D and application and management of intellectual property. Now, the key elements of the above factors, above enabling factors are, data and market surveillance systems, appropriate R&D for affordable, suitable new treatments, fair pricing and reimbursements. I know, the pricing topic has been a subject of discussion, and that's something that it would be important for also PSK to be on the forefront. Local production of essential drugs and supplies, competent workforce, that's very critical, because then, if the drugs are in the hands of professional or healthcare products are in the hands of professional, then the patient is counseled appropriately. And then involvement of the private sector is a key element to consider in supply chain. And then protection of intellectual property, very critical. I know we've just come out from a presentation from KAPI, whose members are mainly R&D manufacturers. And this is a topic, but I'm not saying only for KAPI, because it's not, there are other manufacturers also, including locally. If you look at people like Cambridge, they're also, producing occasionally on a regular, occasionally as we get to hear, they're coming up with new innovations of treatment. For example, if you look back many years back, the treatment of HIV, the HIV drug that was developed by Cambridge. So protection of such intellectual property is very important. So it enables sustainability of innovation, but also motivates or provides an incentive for other innovators to come on board and come up with new inventions. So putting it all together, So strong primary healthcare includes, of course, drug and supplies, which we know what they are, healthcare products and technologies. And then it is important to make sure that facilities have the right drugs and supplies at the right time, and that the patients can access high quality, affordable products when needed, and this is an imperative in delivering high quality primary healthcare services. This required a structured approach to the health system to ensure quality, safety, and efficacy, and equitable access of drugs and supplies. So just to give you a summary of, what are the considerations, the supply chain considerations in primary healthcare. So terms of enablers, we're looking at research and development that meets public health needs and improves access to healthcare products. So that's an important consideration. The other enabler is application and management of intellectual property. So application and management of intellectual property contributes to innovation and promotes public health. Very important. If we look at ensuring quality, safety, and efficacy of healthcare products, we have talked about strong regulatory systems to protect the public and enable timely access and innovation. And when talking about regulatory systems, of course, this cuts across the entire supply chain, whether you are in academia, again, I repeat, or whether you are in manufacturing, whether you're in R&D, whether you're, as long as you're involved in the deliveries, in the supply chain process, then it is important that that we have strong regulatory systems that protect the public and ensure products are of quality, safety, and efficacious. And then we have pre-qualification of health products to meet global quality standards. Very important. In the absence, of course, not in addition to pre-qualification or besides pre-qualification, we have, of course, the good manufacturing practices, which is the standard and minimum WHO requirement for for manufacture of products, and also things to do with the good distribution practices. Those are things to consider in the supply chain, but those fall also under the regulatory piece. Then market surveillance through data collection and analysis. When you look at improving equitable access, evidence-based selection and fair affordable management is very important, so that so that you have affordable products and hence contributes to affordable primary healthcare access. Then procurement and supply chain management and appropriate prescribing and dispensing and rational use of healthcare products are very critical in terms of improving access, and hence this contributes primarily to the achievement of or supports the primary healthcare delivery. Now, just to conclude, this I downloaded this from one of our colleagues from her Facebook. I know she knows herself, she's online, and I thought it was an interesting way of illustrating the role or the touch points the pharmacist does contribute to a strong supply chain. And and in each of these aspects, we are looking at, there must be an item to consider, and they're all lumped up in the previous slides that I've looked at, especially on the last slide where we're looking at putting it all together. So whether you're in manufacturing, whether you're in development, whether in regulation, whether you're in marketing, hospital, clinical, community, or research and academia, really you have a role to play in ensuring that we have a strong supply chain that supports the primary healthcare. So with that, I wish to thank you, and thank you for the opportunity, and I'm happy to take questions. Thank you. Back to you, Robert.
Thank you, Dr. Nyalita, for a very powerful presentation. Supply chain really is the primary driver of primary healthcare. Please send your questions on the Q&A tab so that Dr. Anastasia can respond to you. So I want to go to the next presentation, which will be an abstract presentation by Dr. Wilberforce Wanyanga. So Dr. Wanyanga, welcome to give your abstract presentation.
Thank you very much for this invitation, and I'm hoping that we shall get value of what we are now embarking on, so that we can be able to make the profession what it should be, and what I think that it has been, we fill the gaps from where there have been. I'm sharing my presentation, and I would like to start by thanking you, the organizers of this virtual conference 2020, and more so for making me feel at home. I'm feeling at home because we are talking the really issues that are affecting our sector. My presentation is going to be on the key topic is actually the stimulus for local pharmaceutical production, so that we can be able to make a contribution in making quality essential medicines. This is a study that was carried out in 2019, and for which has been published this year. So may I take the opportunity to thank my co-researchers, Dr. Bugigi and Dr. Franklin,